In this video, we'll take a look at Actual Budget, a free and open source budgeting app that uses the envelope system to help you stay on top of your finances. The app is fairly simple, but don't let that fool you. It's surprisingly versatile and really well made. It has all the bells and whistles you'll need to make and keep a solid personal budget. Before we begin the actual setup, let's just really quickly talk about the way Actual Budget works. So it uses something called the envelope system, and this is where whenever you get paid, you take your money and then you allocate your money into different envelopes. And then whenever you pay rent, for example, you take the money from the rent envelope. When you buy groceries, you take them from the groceries envelope, and so on. And then by the end of the month, if you have any money left in any of the envelopes, you just leave them there and then you can use them next month. That's basically the philosophy behind the Actual Budgeting app. You can also use this as a more conventional budgeting app, but we will look at how that works a little bit later. Now, when it comes to installation, you can download and install this on Windows, Mac, and Linux. You can even set it up on a server. You can set it up to run in a Docker container. In terms of features, there's absolutely no difference. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to create a new file. Now, I am connected to my server, so we'll also save everything there. But again, you don't have to use a server to use Actual Budget. We will create a new file, and I will start by renaming this. I'm going to call this YouTube. And then I will go into the settings, and I just want to change a couple of things. Now you can change the theme here if you want to do that. I'll just stick to midnight. But I want to change the dates here to day, month, year. And I want to select the first day of the month, set that to Monday. So now that is all I'm going to do. We're going to take a look at this stuff here a little bit later, but for now, this is fine. So next thing is to add some accounts, and I am going to create a couple of local accounts. If you have any of these, you can set up your account with that and it will sync automatically and all of that, but I'm just going to create local accounts. I'll create something called main account. This will be I will leave this as off and set the balance as 1500.09 and click create. Now this is the starting balance, but I will set the date here to be January 1st, like so. I will also create another account called reserve. Again, I will leave this off and set the balance to 0. Then I will create an account called, let's just call it car payments. This will be an off balance account, and I will set the starting balance to be minus 10,000. Here I will set this to again be January 1st. And let's create another off budget account, and let's call it savings. Like so. Okay, so the difference between an off-budget and off-budget account is that these will show up in your budget and these will not, right? So this is basically your bank account, your cash, everything like that. And this right here is everything you want to keep track of, but don't really want to include in your budget. This will make a lot of sense in a moment. Now on the budget page, I just want to set this here, which is the number of months shown. I want to set that to 3. And then I want to set this to start at January, February, March. This is what I want to see right now. On the budget page, this is where you set and create the categories. So I will do that. I will go in and create some categories. Now, one thing I'll say here is that this is a very flexible system. So I can move these around any way I want. And I don't have to worry about which group they are connected to. So these right here, these are the groups. You can create more groups, and these are the categories. Okay, so I think I have created everything we need for now, but we can always come in and add more categories if we need to. Let's go back to the main account and let's add some transactions. Now we can do this manually simply by clicking here, add new, select a date, and then fill in these fields. Or we can import everything at once, which I am going to do. So I have this demo that I made, a demo bank statement with some different stuff in it. This is a CSV file. When you open this, it might look like this. If that is the case, go in and select the delimiter here and set that to whatever makes it look good. This is typically comma or semicolon. In the main window here, you can deselect transactions. So if for whatever reason there are some transactions you don't want to import, maybe they are from last year, maybe you already added them manually, you could go in and deselect them. And then what you need to do is you need to match the fields from your CSV files to the fields in actual budget. Actual budget will try and do this for you, but it will not always get it right. It really depends on your file. For me, I want date to be date, description to be payee, the notes, I don't want anything there, and the amount, I want the amount. Now, if you have an expenses and income column in your file, you can click this one here, split amount. You can also, if these are in a different currency or something like that, you can multiply the amount, or you can flip the amount if your amounts are flipped in your file. You also have some other options here, but for now, I'm just going to stick with this and import these transactions. So the goal here is to simply categorize everything on this page, and we have a couple of ways we can do that. The first one is to simply click here on categorize. So in this case, it's the salary. So if I click here, I can scroll down and select income. Whoops, like that. Another thing we can do is we can select one or more, and then we can click up here on transactions and then select category. In this case, it is savings. I'm going to select Walmart and Target, and I'm going to take these three transactions, categorize them as groceries. Okay. You can also, if you select something like this, you can hit C on your keyboard. That will open up this thing here. And here you can select, didn't I have something called cloud? I think I forgot to add that. So let's just go back really quickly and add this one. Let's call it cloud services. Go back to the budget, select these two again, hit C, and like that. Another thing we can do is we can use something called rules. And rules you'll find here in the sidebar. So the way rules works is that you will create a new rule, and then you want to give it some conditions. So for example, if the payee is Walmart, and then it will show you everything it finds that matches this condition, then what we want to do is we want to set the category to be groceries, like so. So this is a rule. We can save that. It doesn't do anything yet. So what we need to do is we need to go back to the main account, select everything here by clicking this checkbox, and then we can click 81 transactions and then run rules, and then it will run the rule on these transactions. But as you can see, only the Walmart ones are groceries. The Walmart checkout, the Target, Little, Whole Foods, they are not. So let's go back into rules and let's change this rule up here. We could also create new rules, one for Walmart checkout, and so on and so forth. But it is easier to simply just have one rules and then target the other ones as well. So let's do that. I will click plus, payee, and then we'll select Walmart checkout. But as you can see, all of the transactions down here has disappeared. And that is simply because we have selected all up here. We want to change this to any. And then we can add more of these. So we can add Target. We can add Whole Foods, and we can add, was it little, I think, like that. Now all of these will match. So let's save that, go back to our main account, select everything, and then run the rules again. Now, as you can see, all the groceries ones here has been added. So the cool thing with rules is that they will run on these as we just did, but next time we go and we import more transactions, they will run automatically. And if you set up enough rules, you will eventually get to a point where you don't really have to set any categories manually, because everything is controlled by your rules. So what I'll do here is I will just go in and categorize the rest of these really quickly, and then we can talk about some special ones after. Okay, good. So I have categorized everything except these. And just a quick tip, when you are categorizing, it can really help to click the category here to show everything that you still need to categorize at the top here. But okay, so the first ones here, these NZ dealership, these are actually payments for my car that I made a loan for. And this off budget account we have here is to keep track of how much I still owe on that car. So I can click here, and then I can set this to make a transfer, and I can transfer this to car payments, and then set the category for car payments. I can do the same here. And this one here, we're going to make that a transfer, and we're going to set that as car payments. Now, when we do this on the last one, it will ask us if we want to merge it. I typically say do nothing, because it doesn't really matter for me. So I'll just do it like this. And then we'll set the category here to car payments as well. But now, as you can see here on my car payments account, that this is not 10,000 anymore. I've added some payments, so now it is only 9,635. So this is a way you can keep track of your debt or your savings, right? So we also have some savings here. This one here, this is also a transfer to my savings account. And this will be an investment or savings. Same one for this one. This is also a transfer to savings. It will ask us this thing again. I'll just say do nothing. And I will set the category to savings, like so. Okay, so far so good. We have these transfers here. These are just transfers from the main account to the reserve account, or from the reserve to the main account, right? So these are just some transfers back and forth. Okay, so this one we have here, the Mary one. What I want you to imagine is that Mary and I, we were out shopping together, and Mary had forgot her wallet, right? So I paid for this thing that Mary purchased, which was $90, and then later she sent me that amount. So if we sort by date, we can find it. So it's this one here. So this was the day we were in Target, the 24th of February, and then she sent me the money a couple of days later. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'll click here in the notes field, and then I will add a tag called Mary. So this just makes it easier to find. And I'll do the same for this one up here. And then I can also show you how tags works. Out in the side here, we have tags. And if you click that and then click find existing tags, it will pull in that tag. And then I can click on that. I can give it a color that stands out a little bit more. I can click on view transactions, and then I can only see these two. So this makes it a little bit easier to work with. And also you will see them here as well. So what we want to do here is, first of all, I want to categorize this payment from Mary to the one category called friends and family. The reason we have this friends and family account is just so in my budget, I can see if I owe someone money or someone owes me money. So right now, since we have not dealt with the other transaction, this will say that I owe someone $90, right? This should always be at 0. But if we go into the main account, we click on Mary here again, And then we take this grocery one, the one from Target, and I'm going to click here, and then I'll click split transaction. And the first one, this will be friends and family, this category, and the payment will be $90, right? So this is what I paid for Mary. And then I'm just going to click distribute, and this will put whatever is left in the other one here. And we'll keep that as groceries because these are what I paid for groceries to myself. So now when I go into budget, you will see that this amount is now 0. So that's how you split a transaction. I just wanted to show you that. If you made a mistake, you can select these two and then you can delete them. And the original transaction will still be there. Okay, as long as you only select these two here, like so. The last thing I want to show you when it comes to transactions are the schedules. So the schedules is not something that I personally use that much, but you might find it useful. What it is basically a way to add transactions that are coming in the future without changing anything. So to add a schedule, what you want to do is click add new schedule. Then we give it a name. Let's call this salary. The payee will also be salary. The account will be the main account, and the amount will be around 1400 plus 1400 is approximately, right? And this will happen every day on the 1st. And as you can see, it will find anything that matches this. So let's just select everything here and click add. What we can do here is we can change the upcoming length and set this to, let's set it to 2 months. So this is how long we want to peek into the future. And what this do is that when I go back to my main account, you can see that now we have these upcoming ones here. Okay, so this basically just gives us a sneak peek into the future and tells us that on the 1st of April and the 1st of May, we expect $1,400 to be sent to our account. If I click here and click show running balance, I can see how it will affect my actual money. But this is where this feature ends. It doesn't affect the budget in any way, and it doesn't affect anything else. It is just a way for me to see what is happening. Now, one more thing I just want to tell you. If you put in transactions to your budget manually, it can make sense to do this, and then it works automatically. So every 1st of the month, it will create this transaction with this amount in your on your account, right? It will not obviously not affect your real bank account. It is only in here in actual that it will do it. But yeah, so that's it, right? So that's what you can use this for. I can imagine that if you put all your recurring bills and payments in here, it will give you a pretty good idea of what will happen in the future. But again, it's not really something that I personally use. But at this point, we can go and we can take a look at the budget. As you can see, we have a lot of stuff going on here right now, a lot of red numbers, and that is because we did not set a budget for these months. But we are in March, and therefore it doesn't really make sense to plan out how much I'm going to spend in January, since I already spent it. So what I'm going to do is I'll just add this amount to the budgeted column to make everything 0. I can do this in 2 ways. I can put it in manually like so, or I can click here. I can click cover overspending and then click here budget to budget, and then it will do it for me. It's a little bit tedious, but this is only something you have to do in the beginning. There we go. So at this point, we still have $1,220 to budget. So what I'm going to do here is I'll click this amount and then hold for next month, and then simply click hold, and this will 0 everything out. If we imagine that for February here, I actually did set a real budget. So let me just go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this looks more like it. This is something you would typically set, right? You don't go in and set weird numbers like this. You typically set like even numbers like this. Let's imagine again that I did the same thing as I did in January. I hold everything that was left, put it to next month, like so. And the reason we are holding whatever is left for the next month is to save it up instead of using it on stuff we didn't budget. But we'll talk more about that in a second. But now this is how it looks at the end of the month. And you can see some places we spend a little bit less than what we have, and some places we spend a little bit more. So what I want you to imagine is that you have an envelope in real life, right? You have an envelope that says rent on it, for example. And at the beginning of the month, you put down $950 in that envelope. Then you pay your rent, and at the end of the month, you have $2.34 left, okay? So you will just leave that amount in the envelope, and the next month you will start with $2.34, right? Now, for the negative numbers, actual budget here wants you to make a decision. So you can do the same, right? Imagine this is an IOU of $4.52. So you can roll that over to next month, and then the next month you will start in the negative, right? Or you can cover it. So you typically want to cover it if that is possible. So in this case, we can try and cover it from some of these places here. Like we have a little bit of money in the electricity envelope, so let's take it from there. Okay. And let's cover the rest from the rent, like so, right? And we will still end up minus $26 in fast food, but you know what? Let's roll that over to next month, and then next month we will just have to deal with that, right? So that is the way you're supposed to do this. But again, the whole idea with this type of envelope budgeting is that you want to take every single dollar that you have and give it a job, even if that job is just to wait until next month. And typically, the way I was taught this was that what you want to do here is you want to get this amount here on the next month up to a place where it is still green before you have received any income. Okay, so if I take March month here and I copy last month's budget, you can see that right now we have $517 short. And if I put in the budgets here for the next couple of months, you will see it just goes up and up and up, right? But then I'll get some income and I will have $1,200 that I can roll over. And if I maybe work a little bit more, or if I save a little bit more dollars, then, eventually I will get to the point where I have a whole month covered before I even get paid. So that's the first goal. The next goal is to get to 2 months, then 3 months, etc., etc. That is the goal with this type of budgeting. However, we have a different style of budgeting that we can also use. So if we go into settings, and where it says, where we have these budgeting options here, we can switch to tracking instead. And if we do that and go back to budget, we will need to put all of our budget in again, but let me just do that really quickly. Okay. As you can see here, the tracking budgeting works a little bit different. The whatever is left here, if it's saved or overspent, it will not roll over to the next month. Basically, your budget will reset every single month. Now, you do have some options. You can click for each category here. You can select if you want this to roll over. Then you can roll this over, and as you will see, this amount will then get bigger in this case, right? Because we have a little bit extra every month, it will get bigger and bigger and bigger. You can also go in here and you can set budgets for your income. That's one way you can do it, right? So this is more way of planning ahead. So if I copy last month's budget, I put in 1,700 here. You can see that I have to adjust my budget a little unless I want to use my savings, which this is. Two different ways of budgeting. Actual budget is made to be used as an envelope system. So that is the way I am going to use this. But it's nice to know that you have the other option if that makes more sense for you for whatever reason. So that is it for this video. I hope it made sense for you, and I hope that you learned something. The really cool thing about hosting your own budget solution is that you don't have to pay for it every month. There are other budgeting apps out there that works pretty much the same way. Maybe they have a few more features, but they're also super expensive. Actual Budget is free. And for someone like me who don't necessarily use this every single day, this is a really good solution. But with that said, I just want to thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any comments or suggestions. And if nothing else, I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.